Hello, and welcome to episode 134 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all things Nintendo. My name is Kevin, and joining me this week in the top down, but also side scrolling, sometimes Hyrule, is Harrison.
Top down, side scrolling, uh, leveling, getting the NPCs involved. Uh, we got Dark Link. Dark Link's
Yep,
important, but we gotta save
more
that,
at
and
11.
we'll talk more about the influence of NES and Nintendo sequels or
Mhm.
follow-up games. And follow-up games that come very soon after the initial game. Just imagine that. But I hope
Hmm.
listeners, all of you are doing well. It's just me, Kevin, this week. We're gonna talk some Nintendo and some video games and do all the YouTube things if you're on YouTube. And we got some big things coming up that I'm really excited to share with everyone, and it's with this podcast, and then it's with all the other pods and projects that we work on as well. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And it was kind of a shorter news week this week, but actually, it's a two of us. What have you been playing this week?
I'm getting closer and closer to 100% completing Bonanza. I got the credits roll this week, so I did that, beat the end boss, and then obviously it's modeled after Odyssey, so there's some post game stuff, and I am almost done with the post game stuff. I don't want to spoil too much for anyone who hasn't played it because honestly, there when I got to the end, I was surprised some stuff hadn't been spoiled for me, so I'm like, "Oh, cool. There actually is some stuff to, take in at the end of this game. I'm surprised nobody posted this on the internet." So I'll keep quiet about that. But, it's really good. I don't know what is going on with, I've always criticized this website, How Long to Beat. Their estimates are always way low on these games. I think people are too ashamed to say what their real playtime is or something. They're just like, "Oh, yeah, I could do that game in 40 hours." And it's like, just give us your real time. It really helps the people who wanna know how much content there is. What else have I been playing? Final Fantasy IV, still chipping away at the pixel remaster of Final Fantasy IV. And other than that, I want to start playing, and we'll talk about this game in a second. They added Chibi-Robo, but I haven't had the pleasure of starting that up yet. How about you?
On the Nintendo side, well, I did our spotlight, so that's important,
Mhm.
and that's
Oh
time
yeah,
consuming. Some,
I played.
of course.
I actually finished our spotlight like 2 weeks ago, just in normal playthroughing before we even pulled it.
Uh, I I was pretty busy this week, so I worked on our Minecraft realm. We got this new Nintendo Therapy Minecraft realm we'll show off later on in a future episode. If I have a
Mhm,
couple hours or like an hour, sometimes I'll just hop in and just like work on something there. And I've just been in that mood lately. Like I've been in that tangible, I want something like in my virtual hands kind of mood. So sometimes, me, I play a lot of those sim type games a lot. And
mhm,
over on, like, my gaming page, I've just completed a few games. Like, I'm actually very happy that I've completed a few different, indie games this year, if anything, because who knows if I finish an actual, like, Nintendo like, a new Nintendo game that is this year. So, we'll see.
mhm.
We'll see, let's see how things go. I'm still, Switch 2 list for now, but after the prices kinda even out a little bit. Maybe after we get a couple more announcements, but we'll do a bigger thing on DK later. Did you look up anything or how is the difficulty Donkey Kong wise?
Um, so I know at the end of the game, there's something that seems like it might be difficult. I haven't made it to it yet. It's like the final thing that I can just like I see what it's going to entail. So, it reminded me a lot of, in 3D, what is it? Super Mario 3D World. They had that, like, post-game world, and, there was a level Crown Dash Crown, and it took me so many tries to beat it. And I feel like it might be one of those things. It's not really like, it just seems like it's gonna be like a really long thing with no checkpoints. I could be wrong, haven't done it yet, but I think it's gonna be one of those deals,
right?
like
Because
a test your might.
I've just seen different things online. Uh, some people are saying that it's very easy, and then certain then
I've seen that too. One challenge in particular, because you have all the different transformations in Donkey Kong, and they have a lot of post game stuff that involves that. And I've seen a lot of people say like, "Oh, the zebra one is impossible," and I'm like, I didn't have any problems with the zebra one. I had problems with like the snake one. Like I feel like it depends on your play style. Everybody's a little different.
I mean, no shame. I mean,
Yeah.
my one of my favorite games is Breath of the Wild, and initially I looked up so many things on that game.
Mhm.
Initially, and I still forget stuff. That's the great thing about having a shorter memory is that you can just play things over and over again, and it's like a new game. It's like a whole new
Oh,
game
one
every
thing I
time.
like about, Donkey Kong, Bonanza that I hope they continue with is, they finally nailed a system where and I can't remember, I don't think this was in Odyssey, where it minimizes how much you have to look up online because you can purchase maps in the game, that will tell you where things are, and then you just kinda have to figure out how to get them. So you might sometimes still need to look up how to get it, but it's very rare. It doesn't eliminate it, but it minimizes how much you need to look up online, which is nice.
It's been a little bit mixed online. Like a lot of people say easy. Seen a couple of streamers say that it's too difficult.
Hmm,
But like, that's more I think in the minority. Hey,
mhm,
do you ever like we don't judge on Nintendo therapy. We're not a judging kind of podcast, but do you ever see someone play a video game like or maybe they play it as B-roll and you get mad because they're not good at it? Because recently I've been seeing a couple people review Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and I'm just like, give me the sticks, man.
yeah.
Like
Or if they miss something, like there's like they'll be going right by a chest or something, and you're like, no, I know you. Go get that. Go get that. Like,
that's
why
rage
are you
bait.
ignoring it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Um.
sometimes like click on my video, comment on my
Yeah.
video, interact with my
Yeah.
video. Oh, I
But, on the difficulty of, Bonanza, I'd say it's actually kinda perfect because, at least so far for me, I haven't been stuck on anything, but it's also not a game that I didn't, like, no fall this game, like, I did die a bunch of times. It's just, like, after a few tries, I would get it, and I think that's the perfect level of difficulty you want. You don't wanna ever be like, "Oh, I'm never gonna finish this thing," but you also don't wanna be like, I didn't even take any damage the whole game." So it's like that perfect mix where you'll die a few times, but you'll eventually be able to do the thing you're trying to do,
yeah,
at least for me.
it has to have the correct mix depending on what kind of game you're playing.
Yeah,
I thought
Nintendo's
that
gotta balance that.
yeah. I thought that, like, Echoes of Wisdom had the correct balance, like, it still had
Mhm,
that Zelda goodness of, like, "Oh, I figured out that puzzle, and I feel
mhm.
good about
Oh,
myself."
there were so many puzzles in that game where I don't know what this is about the human mind, but, like, I was like, "I cannot figure this out, so I'm gonna stop playing." And then the next day, I would start the game up and immediately figure it out. And I'm like, "Why did just taking a break help?" I don't get it, but it did.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of the back burner, and it's something that
Mhm,
I really believe in. And it's especially when you're working on long projects, because there's
mhm,
sometimes where you're just like, I hate it. This is horrible. Or like I never want to play this game anymore.
mhm.
I think there's lots of games like that. I think Minecraft's a great example for me about that, where it's like I'm done. I'm taking a break. And then like the next day, I'm like, yeah, I can see it now. Like I'm gonna go back and fix it instead of just totally give up. So yeah, I really believe in the back burner, um, dealing with lots of things, dealing with issues in life as well. I think that's very important. So let's get into it. You
Yeah.
said Chibi-Robo. You want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. They added Chibi-Robo this week, which I'm hoping being on NSO will help it knock down some of the crazy prices that game has on the secondhand market. We saw that the remake of Thousand Year Door helped reduce the price of that, the original GameCube copies. Now, I know a remake is a little different than just adding something to a subscription service, but come on, people are charging like 500 bucks for Chibi-Robo on some eBay auctions. It's too much. And now it's accessible for everybody who has the service, which is nice. It's a little more accessible than a $500 game. Now you just need a $500 system, but you can do more things with that system. Um, Anyway, if you don't know, it's Chibi Robo is this like it's a adventure platformer where you play as like a household robot designed to make people happy by doing chores. And it's done in like he's like about like 3 or 4 inches tall, so it's like a miniature thing. It's like an indoor Pikmin, where like the scale is small, everything's big. You got like kitchen sinks and couches and chairs and stuff. Um, I've never actually played it. I've watched gameplay footage of it before, and I'm excited to actually finally be able to play it.
I feel like I have played this game before. I don't know. Um, it reminds me of Hey You Pikachu for like such like I think it's a graphic style.
Mhm.
I think it's like the
Yeah, the
3D graphic
GameCube era.
style, and
Yep.
like that you're in like in a room. Um, but does it knock the price down? So, I mean, I linked you an article
We'll have to wait and
uh,
see.
saying that it can do both. It can also knock the price up because it can make the game more
Yeah,
popular, and
we'll
popularity
see.
doesn't change the doesn't so the demand can go up, but then the supply stays the same. So
I'm
okay,
I'm just hoping it has the same effect as the Thousand Year Door remake. Like I said, I get that that's a remake, so people who would rather play the newer version. But Thousand Year Door was selling for like 200, 300 bucks before remake, and now it's like selling for like 60 bucks. So it helped that for sure.
yeah. I have no idea because I don't because the motivation is a little bit split, right? Like you have people who want to buy Chibi Robo to play it because there's limited ways of playing it. But then there's also people that just want to collect it as well. And I don't know if the fact that GameCube emulation is getting easier or the fact that it's
Yeah.
not yet perfect on a lot of
I don't
devices.
think it'll have as dramatic an effect. I was just hoping it affects it at all. Like maybe it goes down to people can only get 200 bucks for their copy now. Cuz it's still a rare game, but I think this might satisfy the appetite of a decent amount of the people that were it's going to reduce demand a little, I think, because a lot of people just wanted to be able to play it. And now all that's left are going to be the people who I need to own it type people.
Maybe maybe we'll get a new Chibi Robo game. This is the test to the
It
market.
would be nice. And I've honestly said before, I think that is something they do with Nintendo Switch Online is they test the waters to see how popular a franchise still is before they dive into one.
Yeah. Test the franchise, see if it's popular, find out that it's really, really popular, and then never put the games on the service ever again. That's
Yep.
what you do. That's the deal. You want some Pokemon? Nope. You want some Animal Crossing? Nope. Well, maybe, but I don't know that. Maybe Animal Crossing in the future, I can dream. But if it happens, all of my time playing other games is it's gone. So
Mhm.
probably won't happen then. So that's super cool. Was that the only NSO game we got this week? I think so.
Yeah, it's really the only bit of news. It's a very slow news week. I know you had some stuff you wanted to talk about, but as far as I could see, like every other news piece was just like fluff, like you know, uh, you can expect Kirby Air Rider footage soon, or um, I don't know, Nintendo downloads for the month of August type of thing. Like there wasn't any like solid news out there.
There's plenty of daily news cycles, so we have to talk about some things. So that's very true. Ass- this might be the only. I'm gonna I'm gonna guess this is the only month because we have October's Pokemon. Okay, this is the only month that's kind of light for the Switch 2, where there's not a big release, but we did have the release of Dragon Drive or Drag X
Mhm,
Drive that I wanted to talk about because I saw some people sharing their ideas. Of course, I haven't played it, but
mhm,
since it was marketed by Nintendo so much, I mean, it was in a presentation. They had a play test for it, which means like, let's see how much interest there is in this game. And it's a Nintendo game that, they have their own Drag X Drive icon on the Switch 2 now. So, with that, and also it's like the only game from Nintendo in August. Even though it's a $20 Nintendo game, uh, I I just don't know, like, it seems like the idea of using the dual Joy-Cons is very innovative, but you know me, I like accessibility, and it seems like,
yeah.
if you give people that option because not only are Joy-Cons more expensive, and I don't know if I wanna constantly, like,
Yeah.
on my table all the time, but like what if people aren't capable of doing that? And after a long day, I just want to lay on the couch, man. I just want
Is there no alternate control scheme?
is
I'm
there?
guessing not.
Is there not?
I don't know. I haven't heard anyone mention one, so I don't think there is.
Because because you have 2 sticks, you have 2 control sticks, so
Yeah.
I think, like, why not offer that? The only reason is that one might be way more overpowered than another, and in the end, no one might not try those innovative new controls that we're trying to push out, but I don't know, like, even if you, like, watch this roll I have, like, going right now, it it looks like kind of GameCube-ish as far as graphic style goes, but I think the characters are kind of flat. And Nintendo, I think, should learn by now that they gotta push their games through a strong character design, or at least have like some smaller Nintendo characters in these games.
That's a great point. This was a good opportunity for them to like Splatoon this, like create some new Nintendo characters for the future Smash Brothers games. Um and instead they just got like blue guy, green guy, pink guy. And yeah, they totally could have created a whole new cast of characters here.
Sure. You could use lesser known characters
Maybe
or
maybe they
Splatoon
were
is
trying to keep this a $20 price tag from the beginning, and they didn't want to invest that much into something like that. I don't know. That's a guess.
well, this could have been a pack in game 2 for free, so we could go
Mhm.
either way. I think you make it a $20 game or a $25 game or a $30 game, and you invest the money for a strong character design anyway, because this still has a Nintendo label on it, and Splatoon had a strong character design, but ARMS did ARMS? I didn't play ARMS, and not a lot of people played ARMS, and this seems
You're
like
right.
might be more of like like an ARMS game that, like, years later, people are like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, Dragon Drive. I remember that." So it seems like a missed opportunities there. And the other part, so I like the innovative part, even though I wouldn't use the controls, and I think they need to
Mhm.
have options for controls. If this could be seen as a proof of concept, I would like to see them maybe go a little bit further with the idea of representation. Because in the end, I know wheelchair basketball in real life doesn't have half pipes, but wouldn't it be cool to like point that out a little bit more, that this is like wheelchair basketball, and wheelchair basketball could be kind of cool. I don't
Mhm.
know if that's for I don't know if that's doing like a solo campaign or something like that. But I just thought that would be like a cool thing to include as well, you know? Nintendo, you're trying to be inclusive, so why not?
Yeah, I agree. It's an interesting one for sure. Whenever I look at stuff like this, I wonder how much of it is just that I'm just not the target market. I mean, I feel like I should be the target market. I'm a huge Nintendo guy, but I wonder how much of this is like, do kids like this? Is like the question I'm wondering. Like, would a teenager see this and be like, "Oh, this is awesome," or is it
Oh.
universally confusing?
I think if you could play Rocket League for free on your Switch, which you can,
Yeah.
you would just
Yep.
do that, because I'm thinking like, "Hey, I'm a basketball guy, and I'm dying for a basketball game on anything." But, yeah, I wouldn't play this.
I still hope we get another Mario basketball game.
Sure. Sure. I hope this generation can put out some good Nintendo sports games.
Mhm.
And they actually have a relationship with EA now, which is crazy. Like that again, it's just crazy what money will do to a corporate relationship. It really is. It's
Mhm.
almost like all that personal stuff was just all about the money from the beginning. So yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, the other one, right? There's one more. The other one I want to talk to you about, and I got one of the I almost said Nintendo therapy nerds, but that would be wrong. Ninja Turtle nerds on here. Shout out your podcast, which I don't think you do sometimes, perhaps, but you're a Ninja Turtle
It's
guy.
coming back. Sean and I have had talks. It's coming back. He's we got to get through summer first.
There's a demand for it. There's lots of games coming out. So I wanted to talk about this because this game, Tactical Takedown, came out a few days ago on, or at least it came out on console. It's been out on PC for a little while, but we
Mhm.
had a so for Switch, we had Cowabunga Collection 2022, Shredder's Revenge 2022, Splintered Fate 2023, which was the action roguelite, Mutants Unleashed, which was that RPG in 2024, Wrath of Mutants, re-release in 2024. I think that was originally 2017. Tactical Takedown in 2025. So just from 2022, this franchise is like they're basically doing what I wish every franchise would do, but it's just not a franchise that I'm a fan of. Because they're like doing like multiple development teams, multiple graphic styles, multiple genres, and yeah, take it away.
I was gonna say, and the games are all selling really well. I mean, part of me thinks that it was some of this has to do with the in 2024 it was the 40th anniversary, so they had a lot of stuff going on in 2024 for the 40th. um, along with reprinting a lot of like comic collections and we just got outside of video games, they just finally released 4K versions of the 90s Ninja Turtle movies. So I feel like just Nickelodeon got the rights. I believe they got the rights in 2009. They paid about 60 million for TMNT, which in my opinion, you're seeing the proof in the pudding right now was a good deal for them. Like I feel like they could have paid more than 60 million. They probably made that um on the first film they released alone. So um yeah, I think they're just trying to get everything they can out of this franchise while the people who grew up with it are still interested. and are still like showing the new generation um what they grew up with, and getting a new generation of Turtles fans interested. So um yeah, they had the new cartoon show start too, which is nice. It's it's really exploding. It's, to be honest, one of the things that slowed us down on Ninja Turtle nerds was Sean and I took that hiatus. We had a bit of a problem where the audio got corrupted in one of our episodes, and we had to re-record it, and we never got around to re-recording it. And then just like so much kept happening that we were like, we can't keep up with this right now. We literally can't keep up with Ninja Turtles anymore. When we started that podcast, there was nothing going on with Ninja Turtles. There was the cartoon and the comic, and we knew a movie was coming eventually, and that was it. And now it's like I feel like every month there's something new. So, yeah, I like it because I love Ninja Turtles still, don't get me wrong. I just was not able to keep up with it, for the podcast, on a weekly basis.
Well, it's a lot to keep up with in these last
Yeah.
4 years or so, and it's just a franchise that I have to pay attention to now based on the amount of games and games plus DLC plus bundles that they have released on the Switch console as well as, like, everything else,
I think what
and
you're seeing too is it's a very malleable franchise. Like you can have a very adult Ninja Turtle story like The Last Ronin. You can have a children's Ninja Turtle story like the cartoon series. You can have a tactical game. You can have a beat 'em up game. You could have a puzzle game. Like there's so many different ways you could take the franchise. So I think that's just helping it.
well, Tactical Takedown is interesting. I've been watching all of these, like Splintered Fate caught my attention as a roguelike, but Tactical Takedown is like it almost feels like that's like the opposite of where you would go. Like I can't even imagine if you
Mhm.
would release a turn-based board game style TMNT game in a different generation. But I think
Mm.
now it works really, really well. Looking at it, I think it doesn't look as exciting, of course, as a beat 'em up. Perhaps there's
Mm.
opportunities for more animations, but I do
Yeah.
like turn-based tactical, like, I can
And
see
I'm glad they're experimenting too,
yeah.
because one thing we used to say on that podcast all the time, was that I'm kind of sick of beat 'em ups for Ninja Turtles. It's like they're like, "Oh, hey, we need a new Ninja Turtle game," and it's automatically assumed it's going to be a beat 'em up from the beginning. And Shredder's Revenge switched it up a little bit by having like a world map, and like they've done a few tweaks here and there, but like I would um the 3rd Game Boy game they have, the name of it's escaping me right now. It stars Michelangelo. It's, it's a Metroidvania. And I'm like, yes, do more of that. Do more because like as you find each turtle has a different ability and you get to go to different parts of the map. They should do more stuff like that. Like it doesn't always have to be just like move left to right and hit everybody till they're dead. Um, so yeah, I'm really glad to see this like switching up the form. The
Oh,
problem is, Turtles in Time was so massively popular that everybody wants to make the new Turtles in Time, and it's like, well, we've had that 3 times now. It's done.
Radical Rescue was the one you're thinking of.
Mhm.
I
Yes. Yep.
yeah, yeah, for Game Boy. Radical Rescue, that was the 3rd one, that was the Metroidvania one. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's cool, like we've said many times on here, because I can see, like, oh, if you're because people who are fans of this genre, like I don't even know what you call it, like the board game style, tabletop, turn-based style games. If you're a
Mhm.
fan of that, then you might be like, well, I'm, I guess I'm kind of a fan of Ninja Turtles, so I want to play this game. Played that game. Now I want to play more Ninja Turtle games because now I'm like
Mhm.
a real fan after playing that. So it's so unique. I never really thought this beat like a something so known for beat 'em ups would take this route, and I'm happy they did. Um,
It's also a franchise I feel like everybody has some degree of familiarity with. It's not an overly complicated story. It's not like I feel like some Star Wars games or things like that. People are like, "Well, I don't really understand where this is in the timeline, or I don't know who this Jedi is or this lore." And like Ninja Turtles, it's like it's so accessible every single time.
you just choose your favorite color. I like
Yeah,
purple.
exactly.
I like
Yep.
purple. I'm the purple one. So I guess to close this one out, I guess my big question is a speculation. I want to speculate. Like, are we eventually leading to a big 3D open world TMNT game, or where is it? Like why don't we have that already? Right? Like a
You know, there were rumors of one, that they were making a AAA Ninja Turtles, like, Assassin's Creed style game all the way back before this podcast even existed, so I don't think that one must have fallen apart by now, who knows? That was, like, 4 years ago, so who knows? It could come at some point.
That would be so cool. And I would hope that it's new gen, like, I would hope that it would be, like, an actual urban environment, Make it
Mhm.
cyberpunk. Make it cyberpunk for me, why not? Uh,
Here you go.
or yeah, I don't know. Wait, I'm such a noob. Are they in an actual city in Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, they're in New York. They're
They're
in New York. It's
they're
a
in New
parody
York.
of Daredevil, basically.
They're in New
Where
York.
in New York? Oh.
There was never a Mario crossover, was there?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, they've done those, like, memes where it's, like, Mario stomping on a Ninja Turtle instead of a Goomba, but, um, nothing ever official.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, it's just like very big, mascots slash video game mascots that
I always thought
live in New York.
random thought before we end this discussion here though. I always thought they should have been in Boston, to tell you the truth, because they were created in Massachusetts and there's not enough crime fighting superheroes in Boston. I think the Savage Dragon takes place in Boston. There's a few of them. But yeah, the creators both being from Massachusetts and living in Massachusetts and releasing the comic in Massachusetts the first time they did it, I always thought it'd be cooler if it was in Boston, but I get that they were parodying Daredevil and Marvel comics of the time, so of course New York.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, Boston's got good pizza. Fight about it in the comments. Are you from Boston? If you're from New Jersey, I know you wanna fight about pizza. I know you do. I know you do, so anyways, it's always a point of pride that I find interesting. So, very
So did
so
you have anything else, or, do you wanna do this,
uh
this thing I prepared real quick?
no, not really. Slow news week. Tiny Bookshop is
Mhm.
number one on the eShop. So there's just been still in 2025, just a lot of indie games that I'm interested in the Switch/Switch 2 library. So that's good. That's all. That's it.
Alright, so I
Uh,
this is sort of a this or that, but it's more gauntlet style. So we're gonna always keep one from the whichever one you pick is gonna move on to the next round each time, and we're just gonna rapid fire it, alright? So I put together a list of popular Nintendo games. Let me know when you're ready.
ready.
Alright. So, first one, The Legend of Zelda on NES or Metroid on NES?
So so this is standard rules, right? So it's whatever one I like the most. It's not
Yes,
it's
yeah, this
it's
is
not
just what do you prefer?
there's no facts involved.
This is basically like you ever watch those clips they post of Ellen where she'll have a guest on and she'll be like, Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt, and then they'll do like it's sorta like that.
Our show is exactly like Ellen. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So anyways, I derailed us. So, I've played and finished both in the last like year or so. Um, I would for sure pick Metroid at this point. Zelda's is super important, but it's not a game that I really enjoy playing anymore. But it does have all the old school make your map and everything, all of that. What do you pick?
Um, I pick Legend of Zelda. I love Metroid, but I feel like it's just been improved upon so much in Zero Mission that that's like my definitive version. But we're gonna stick with you for this. I want to go through as like a gauntlet.
Oh, okay.
And then maybe we'll do me some other time. So
Oh,
okay,
okay.
you said Metroid. All right. So now it's Metroid or Punch Out. You see how it works? It's gonna keep going through. So Metroid
Oh,
or Punch Out.
oh, okay. Okay. We're going with the original Punch Out or
Yeah.
the
Or
original
Mike Tyson,
or Mike
whichever one.
Tyson. Either way, I'm still going with Metroid. I like Metroid a lot
Okay.
more now growing up.
These are in chronological order, by the way. Metroid or Super Mario Brothers 3?
Oh, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Okay. Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World?
Super Mario Brothers 3.
All right. Super Mario Brothers 3 or A Link to the Past?
This is the toughest one, but Super Mario Brothers 3.
Okay. Then this one's going to be easy. Super Mario Brothers 3 or Kirby's Adventure?
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, these are in chronological order. That's
Yeah.
the only reason that happened.
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Metroid?
Super Mario Brothers 3. Yeah.
All right. Mario
Okay.
Brothers 3 or Mario 64?
Mario Brothers 3.
All right. Mario Brothers 3 or Mario Kart 64?
Mario Brothers 3.
All right. We're close to one that'll trip you up. Mario Brothers 3 or Ocarina of Time?
Mario Brothers 3.
All right, here's the hard one. Mario Brothers 3 or Animal Crossing?
The original Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Mario Brothers 3.
Man, you're loyal. Um, let me scroll through some of these more unpopular ones. Mario Brothers 3 or Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, Mario Brothers 3. Yeah. Uh,
All right, and
these
I
are all
guess
good.
we're gonna end it here. Mario Brothers 3 or New Horizons?
Ooh, I wish you would have ended with Breath of the Wild, but Mario Brothers 3. I
All
was
right,
hoping to
Super
let I
Mario
was hoping
Brothers
to let the
3
Breath of the Wild so I could change it. Okay,
makes it through the gauntlet. Yeah,
I
no,
yeah, yeah, I like the gauntlet idea, but Mario Brothers 3 is like
yeah, I should have taken that out of the mix.
so
But
yeah,
we'll get it. But I mean, I have seen people do this segment on other shows where they do stick with the same one the whole time. It just
right,
happens sometimes.
right.
So I'll put a new list together, maybe characters or something, and we'll do it again another time.
Right, right. Animal Crossing would be close, but
Hmm.
or if you would have said Animal Crossing New Leaf, I would pick that for example over Mario Brothers 3. But
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite games and
yeah,
I was
for sure.
thinking I was thinking this about this segment this week, but it can be a segment later maybe, but I think Mario Brothers 3 is the 2nd or 3rd most important Nintendo game in Nintendo history. Now, we can debate, like, best but I think
Hmm.
the most important, like, most impactful, it
Hmm.
has to be either the 2nd or 3rd most in the history of that
I don't
franchise.
know if I could limit it to 3. I think I could put a top 5 together real easy, but limiting it to 3 would be hard.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, maybe for a future segment.
Well, spitball for me. So when you're thinking of games that are not necessarily the best, maybe the best, but the most
Mhm,
important culturally, video game wise, video game history, video game trends,
mhm.
top of your mind, what comes to mind?
A Link to the Past, I think, would definitely be in that conversation, which I would be my version of Super Mario Bros. 3 on this list. I think I would have picked A Link to the Past the whole way down. Um, 'Cause it definitely, um, showed the world what a Zelda game or an adventure game in general could be, and it's crazy. Like, I think people take for granted how ahead of its time that game is if you go back and look at other releases from the same year. It had, like, weather effects when it starts off and it's raining and you're in the thunderstorm and, like, it had the 2 worlds, and it set up the basic structure that, like, every Zelda game after it followed of collect the 3 gems, and then that unlocks an alternate world, and now you have 8 dungeons. They all followed that structure. Um, so yeah, A Link to the Past for sure. What else jumps out at me? As far as important for Nintendo. I mean, because those are 2 of the biggest ones to me. Pokemon, obviously. I don't know if you count that as Nintendo, but Pokemon's definitely on that list.
Yeah.
So
Is
yeah,
Mario
maybe.
Brothers 3 on that list for you?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
because that was where the world map started, which is huge, like, Super Mario World, uh, innovated on that, and then, like, a lot of other side-scrolling Marios afterwards innovated on it, but, like, the world map is, like, a big part of, um it's funny, I pointed out, at some point how things would copy Nintendo, and, like, you saw them copy them again when it came to Mario 64. Because if you look at the Crash Bandicoot games, the first game has a world map more like Super Mario World, and then after Mario 64 came out, the second Crash game now has a hub world with portals that you go into, and it's just, like, a funny, thing that, like, both of those games kind of influenced
Right.
everything. But, yeah, yeah, the world map in Super Mario Bros. 3 definitely a big step forward. Um, what else is out there though that, really changed the game, flipped the script? Um, I don't wanna just keep saying Mario and Zelda games, but it feels like those are
Do it,
Nintendo's heaviest hitters.
but do it though, like, what's the next obvious Mario game that would have the biggest impact with gaming?
Definitely Mario 64, because that was, like, one of the key, like, mind-blowing moments of my gaming history, and I feel like everybody online has shared the same sentiment of, like, the first time you played that, you were just like you would just stand there as Mario and move the camera around and look at the world and be like, "Oh, wow, look at over the," and, like, you would, and it's funny, the worlds were smaller then, but you just took them in more, and, like, you were just so in, like, looking at every nook and cranny and like, "Oh, I wonder if I can get up there. I wonder how I can get over here," you know? Um,
Yeah, and
so that's
didn't
a big
that
one.
set the standard and impact gaming overall, gaming culture overall, just overall gaming
Yep.
in the '90s? I'm talking about just overall importance with everything, so Mario 64
I
has
would
to
argue
be on
Mario
there.
64 is more important than Time because I don't think you get the Hyrule of Ocarina of Time without the innovations Mario 64 made.
Right,
So,
but
there's
Ocarina of
that.
Time is like right, it's like right under it, right? It's like
Mhm.
right up there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's the 1-2 punch for sure.
I would agree with all of those. And um, well, you can say yeah, I've shared my biases on here, but I think after Mario 64, Breath of the Wild is the next most important game in
Mhm.
Nintendo's history. I actually think Breath of the Wild, for so many reasons, even though it's this such an imperfect game, is the most impactful game Nintendo has released, in the last 20 years, at least, maybe 25 years. Just how much it, it impacted the franchise, how much it impacted gaming for that generation. It influenced Elden Ring, which was one of the biggest games of this generation of gaming. It did so much for Nintendo and beyond that I think it has to be, even though it's not the maybe the best or most perfect Nintendo title, has to be one of the most important, for it there. So, for me, it's like, I think that's, like, in the top 2 or 3 as well. as
It
well
definitely
as
changed how Nintendo went about its games because, even looking at Donkey Kong Bonanza today, there's a little bit of Breath of the Wild in that game. So they're definitely, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. There's a little bit of Breath of Wild in that game. Like for so long, games are going to be described as it's like Breath of the Wild, but it's sort of like how everything after Minecraft had a little bit of Minecraft in it. It's that big.
yeah. I watched, a video for this new indie title called Discounty. If you see it,
Mhm.
you might wanna play it. It's very but, like, every single review, "Is it like Stardew? Is this the Stardew of supermarkets? Is it a
Mhm.
Stardew like" and it's kind of ruined that. So, I would agree with all of those. Pokemon, Mario Brothers 3, Mario Brothers 1, perhaps? But, yeah, I mean, it is gonna be a lot of Mario and Zelda, but that's what made those IPs what they are. And it's all about
For sure.
experiences as well. Like, all of those impactful games provided some sort of experience that Nintendo can just latch on to.
I would also argue, Animal Crossing being somewhere in the conversation of top 5 or top 10 just because, that's another game that I remember when it came out, the concept being amazing to me. Like, I remember reading, like, literally the sentence of it saying, like, "The game keeps playing even when you're not playing it," and, like, not understanding it. Like, I had never played a game like that before where events happened whether you were there or not. So, like, I remember trying like, it's so funny now because it's such a basic thing, but I do remember at the time, like, trying to be like, "What do they mean by that?"
Yeah, yeah, and I was obsessed from the
Mhm,
beginning. Uh, it was the number one game where I would just be at school. The game is going on.
mhm.
What are they doing? It's got to be better than this. And yeah, if you go back and you, like, listen to the music as well, because, like, if I go back, I listen to, like, the 3 PM music from Animal Crossing, it's like, oh, yeah, like, getting home from school, 4 PM music, because I would just be chilling on that game, like, not even playing it, just having it open, just on the
I
screen.
still wanna play the Nintendo 64 version someday. I understand they're the same, it just would be a cool novelty. I know there's differences, but, like, it's mostly the same.
Yeah, I've never played it either. I've never, watched the anime that they released.
Yeah, me either.
So, I think I'm a pretty moderate Animal Crossing fan. But that's my franchise. That's it. I'm very worried about it. I'm very worried about it, but we'll cover that hopefully soon. All right. You said this was going to be a short episode, and it's not.
Yeah, hold on, just noticed my laptop wasn't plugged in, don't want it dying on me. Then I knocked my earbud out. Alright. Yeah, let's talk about the Spotlight game. Okay. Alright, moving on to the Spotlight. So this week we played Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. It was released in 1987 in Japan for the Famicom Disk System, and then in 1988 in North America for NES. Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, it often gets a bad rap, but I honestly think it deserves credit for trying to innovate within the series. The mix of side-scrolling action and RPG like overworld with like, I guess you could call them random encounters, even though they're not technically random encounters, but you really can't avoid them. So they are random encounters. Um, it was bold for its time. It's clearly aimed at uh deepening the combat system from just swiping your sword in the first one. And Shigeru Miyamoto had a big focus on what he called one-to-one sword play. And I remember this came up a lot when Skyward Sword came out. They in a lot of those promotional materials, they said he has been obsessed with this ever since the Adventure of Link. He wanted it to work in Adventure of Link, and all he could get was that like up down system. And then in Ocarina of Time, they had Z targeting, but it wasn't quite there yet. And like anyway, so they really focused on how at the time he wanted more one-to-one sword play. But all you really get is like stab high, stab low. That said, I honestly believe this game could be remade into something great today by smoothing out the combat a little, making spell locations and requirements a little more clearly translated or communicated to the player, adding a couple of quality of life features like an in-game map, um, polishing the overall flow. Nintendo could just transform Zelda 2 from a divisive like experimentation into a modern classic, I feel like. That said, I've said it on the podcast before and people accused us of being Zelda hipsters. It was it was not hated when it came out. When it came out, you had Zelda and Zelda 2, and that's it. You didn't have A Link to the Past to compare it to. You didn't have Link's Awakening to compare it to. You just had the 2 games, and it didn't seem as much of an outlier at the time, and I'm gonna say it here. I think as a kid, I played this more than I played the original Zelda. Now, A Link to the Past, I've already said, is one of my favorite games of all time. That took it to the next stratosphere. But as far as like before the Super Nintendo came out, I think I played this more. What were your thoughts on it this week?
Yeah, it's not gonna matter what we say, is it? Like,
Yeah.
if we post any clips of this online, um, if there's gonna be any comments on it, we're gonna be out of it's gonna be out of context, isn't it? Because I would say that, like, this this is going to rank low for a Zelda game, but
Oh, yeah.
that doesn't mean a lot when we're talking about Zelda
Especially
games.
since I just recently did a full playthrough of this game because I'm going through the series. And I'll admit I was happy when it was over. But um, that said, it's only because of those things that I feel like I'm like, if I just didn't have to like stop my forward progression every 2 seconds to be like bling, 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 up, down, up, down. Like that's the only thing preventing this game from being great. That and like telling like stuff games of the time had normally like Simon's Quest is famous for this too of just like not communicating very well to the player what you're supposed to do. But like you just change the dialogue a little bit and you change the combat to not just be like block stab and you got a good game
Yeah, so I'm
in my opinion.
yeah, I'm so I don't think I've ever been more torn on a game that we've done as far as like potential remakes because I feel like selfishly, like, yes, I really want this game to be remade, even though, yes, it's not one of my favorite Zelda titles. And I'm
Mhm.
torn on whether or not that would be a good business plan, a business idea for Nintendo, even though I selfishly want it. At the same time, perhaps after Nintendo, releases Dust Bloods exclusively, and they get a bigger install base of people who might enjoy more difficult games. There's difficult games has a huge market now, but how do you add in other features to make it, look better and play better while still keeping it difficult and more fun to play, I'll say. So I don't know if this game
I'm saying the opposite though. I'm saying like make it easier. Just make it like take the difficulty level away and I feel like people would enjoy exploring this world if they weren't constantly dying.
give them the option. Like
Yeah, that too. That too.
because
Mario Wonder this thing up. Give us the Mario Wonder treatment.
I've never I just don't know if, like, if they were to remake this game, I would be playing it day 1, but I don't know how popular it would just be, because I do think it's kind of a
Do it
tough.
on like a level of like Echoes of Wisdom, you know, where it's like it's a quirky installment. It's not like a full release of Zelda, you know?
I haven't checked the numbers. I mean, is it selling? I mean, Is it selling 5,000,000? Is it selling as much as, like, a Link's Awakening
No,
remake?
I'm saying you do
No.
it like Echoes or like, like when they put out Luigi's Mansion, 2, like things they expect to sell about 3,000,000.
Yeah. So, I would love to see it, and now that I'm talking through it, I do think that there is, like, a decent enough market there, especially since you're not making, like a completely new game, you're not gonna make a one-to-one either. I
Mhm.
wanna get back into talking about this game more. So, this game came out was it something else?
I was just gonna take
Yeah.
it through like, the way GamePro magazine used to review their games, is they had like these categories where they'd rate each thing out of 5, and I thought it would be fun to do for this one. Um, so I'll do that more when we get to our rankings. So go ahead.
Oh, so this game came out less than a year in North America after the first one, and that's
Mhm.
always crazy to think about, thinking about development links now. And we know this game was inspired by Kung Fu Master, which was ported to the NES in 1985. So there's not very much detail on the overall development. We know Miyamoto had a whole different team for this compared to, then to Zelda 1, Miyamoto worked on this under a different moniker, and, we can assume that Adventure of Link was in development prior to the first Zelda game actually being released. We don't know, but, less than a year is not a very long time. So,
Mhm.
it's safe to say that he at least had that idea, with Kung Fu Master 1985, that he wanted the second Zelda game to be completely different from the first, not knowing how successful the first game was actually going to be. And yes, I couldn't get the Wayback Machine to work so well, but the initial reviews that I saw are all very, very positive. They mentioned that it's a logical step in the right direction with the success of Mario. Like, okay, like side scrolling here, side scrolling there. That makes sense. And the music
Yeah, at the
is
time, the first Zelda would have been the weird one, like not a lot of games played like that.
yeah, graphically it's weird, but it is of course an upgrade. The music was done by a whole different composer, but it's great. Like I was actually surprised, like because it's so similar. Like it's such a
Yeah.
logical like next. Um,
That
it's
dungeon
it's
theme,
just very
and
very good.
they brought it back for Smash Brothers Melee. That dungeon theme is so good.
Yeah, and there's plenty parts to this game, whether it's Dark Link, whether it's the impact of NPCs overall, in these games that
Introduction of the magic meter.
you just see um in future Zelda titles as well. So I don't want to. I always feel like I'm not talking about the gameplay enough, but you
Mhm.
did um a decent amount. Like, have you played any games maybe in this generation that were similar gameplay or combat style? Like on the wiki, they mentioned Moon Crystal, Battle of Olympus. Any games
I
that remind
honestly
you
think
of?
this compares very well with, Simon's Quest, because that was another game where they broke the mold and, like, tried to completely rethink it and add RPG elements and everything, and more side scroll well, I guess the first one was side scrolling, but, more cities and, like, NPC characters and stuff like that, so I think it compares with that a lot. Um yeah, it's a weird game. You don't get items in the dungeons, you get spells that let you get to the dungeons from the towns, and then in the dungeons, you get items like, you get the candle that lets you see in caves, but, um, not like you would think of a traditional Zelda item, really. You get the hammer at one point that lets you break a rock that's in your way. Um, it's, yeah, I guess I don't know, I guess it is more like the first game where, like, you get, like, the ladder and the raft, you know? It's not like later games where you're getting offensive, items.
Right. So difficult game. I definitely want to get into rankings and recommendations, and I like your idea as well. This is a more difficult recommendation, we would say, for a Zelda title. If you were to recommend this game to somebody, how would you recommend they get into it, or do they just just jump in?
No, I would say play other Zeldas first if you're playing this, to experience the Zelda series. You know, I would say start with stuff like A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, and if you want that top-down perspective. Also, there's the Oracle games; they're pretty decent. And then, you know, this is you just gotta go in knowing that you're gonna need to use save states. It's gonna be extremely difficult, and you're gonna be replaying a lot of areas over and over again. This is an old school video game in that sense, where it expects you to just keep replaying a thing until you get past it. So, yeah, I'd recommend it to people who enjoy that old school video gaming experience and are not looking for a modern version of games where you're expected to be able to complete your tasks. Um, as far as like how GamePro would have reviewed it at the time, I'm just guessing. I didn't pull up an old review or anything, but they used to have these categories. I'll bet it would have gotten a 5 out of 5 for graphics. It looks very good for a game from 1987. Um, Controls are a 4 out of 5. It's the you never feel like you died because the controls were bad. I'll knock it back a point because of when sometimes when you get hit by objects, it's one of those games that knocks you back into the hole almost automatically. Don't like that. I don't even know if that's controls. But anyway, sound 5 out of 5. Again, the music's amazing, the sound design's amazing. You get that laugh on the game over screen, which is iconic, that um, so that's great. Where it falls apart is the last 2 categories. Game design, I think you'd give it a 2 out of 5, and satisfaction, I think you'd give it a 2 out of 5. So that's how I think GamePro would have ranked this thing.
All right. It would have
As
been
far as
depends on the perseverance of whoever is reviewing it.
yeah,
Yeah, keep going.
out of my overall rankings, I put this I do have a degree of nostalgia for this, so it's not all the way at the bottom of my list or anything. I ranked it somewhere towards the middle at 65. It, actually, now that I'm looking at that, I can't put it at 65. Now that I'm looking at what games are in that area that don't make no sense. I'm gonna put it down at 71. That's a little better. So now it's below Dr. Mario. Um, Even that I want to see. This is a live ranking. Um, because okay, it can, you know what? It can sit below Ghosts and Goblins, which is an equally difficult and frustrating game, and above Grandius. So it's at 74.
Well, I'm gonna put it at 36 and maybe just say that I'm ranking it too high as a Zelda title. Maybe I have my Zelda glasses on. But it is the
You know,
lowest. It's the
I'm
lowest
mainly
Zelda
ranking
title.
it that way because of my recent playthrough. I did say at the end of it, I was like relieved when it was over, and that's not a good sign for a game. It's almost like you're just playing it for the context and you're playing it for the historical value. And you're not really playing this game because you actually enjoy it, even though you might enjoy some things in it, like the music and the overall look. And I love walking around the towns. The town music is great too, talking to the NPCs. But overall, I did not enjoy the experience.
Overall, it is the lowest Zelda for me, so I want to go through mine at this point. Link to the Past is number 2. Link's Awakening DX is number 4. Ocarina of Time is 6. Minish Cap is 13. Majora's Mask is 14. And Link to the Past Four Swords, which is difficult to rank, but it's at 27.
Mhm.
And I just want to take time to say I think Link's Awakening is the most underrated Zelda title because I think it's just fantastic. And honestly, if you were to like, I don't know if it's controversial, but I think it's right next to Link to the Past as far as
Mhm.
game quality goes. I think it's
I
right
have it
up
at
there.
number 9 on my list. My top 10 is mostly Zelda so far,
So,
but this particular Zelda did not make it.
what do you got? You got Link to the Past number one, right?
Yeah, Link to the Past is number 1, Majora's Mask is number 4, The Minish Cap is number 6, Ocarina of Time is number 8, Link's Awakening is number 9, um, Four Swords is 65, and then this is 74.
Right, so we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yep.
Now we got the oldest one and the newest one on the system. So, oh,
Yeah, and maybe someday they'll add Twilight Princess on there, who knows?
oh man,
That's the true version.
I
Twilight
don't
Princess is the GameCube version of Twilight Princess is the correct map. They had to flip it for the Wii version, just so you know.
I don't know what's going on. Like it's bothering me more and more that we don't have the Wii U version of
Mm.
Wind Waker, and I'm thinking like they wouldn't they wouldn't still release the Wind Waker Twilight Princess bundle with that version, even though we have it on NSO with the GameCube version. Because I don't
Who
really,
knows?
I don't really know.
At
Like
this point, it seems like it's out of spite. At this point, it's like spite. Like you didn't support our Wii U, then you can't have this.
yeah, yeah.
Let's find out what we're playing next week. Okay, we are going to the Nintendo 64. We're gonna play some Blast Corps. Blast Core. Sorry, uh, I think it was a launch title. It was definitely a first year title for the Nintendo 64, a first couple of month title. So it was there right at the beginning of the system. It's a game made by Rare. I haven't played this in forever. I did play it back in the day, and all I really remember is you drive trucks into things and make them blow up, and that's the goal. I don't know why it's the goal. So we will find out next week. Um, yeah. So thank everybody for listening. That's our show. Did you have any more thoughts this week, Harrison?
No, have a good week, everybody.
Perfect. Yeah. Have a good week. Thank you, everyone who liked and subscribed so far. If you haven't yet, appreciate you to do it. I think I read somewhere you only need like five. I forget what they call it, but like you need five people to subscribe and or comment and or share something a week to like boost how many people see your channel. So if we can get 5 a week, that would be nice. So subscribe, comment, like all those things. Actually, I don't think liking it counted. It was just sharing. But
Like
anyway,
it.
do those. Yeah, like it anyway. Do those things. And we appreciate you for doing those things. And we will see you next week for more Nintendo therapy. See you then.